Thank you. Mr. Carver has 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Western-led bombing to oust Gaddafi was supposed to be a success story for a new kind of warfare. Politicians such as Cameron and Sarkozy wanted us to believe they had devised a surgical military intervention. More, the bombing was supposed to show that European leaders could exert influence in North Africa to match America's. What blood-soaked European vanity that has turned out to be. Libya is not a failed state. It is no kind of state at all. It is a territory of murder and chaos, of kidnapping and butchery. The EU should do nothing but stay out. Mrs Mogherini's Eurocrats can do no good by meddling in a civil war which Europe helped cause. And with whom would they negotiate anyway? With which set of Islamic extremists or tribal warlords or American favourites? Our interference turned loose chaos in Libya. We must not enter conflicts that aren't in the national interests of member states. Thank you.
Thank you. Blue card from Mr. Tannock. Do you accept?
Do you accept a blue card from Mr. Tannock?
Mr. Carver, if you had been Prime Minister of the United Kingdom and you were in a position to decide, what would you have done when you heard Mr. Gaddafi say he was going to butcher every man, woman and child in Benghazi? Had Mr. Cameron not intervened and that massacre had taken place, surely the world would have said we got it wrong. It's clear we have huge problems in Libya and the outcome is far from desirable, but what would you have done given the threat from a paranoid dictator like Muammar Gaddafi?
Thank you, Mr. Tannock. What I would have done is I would have learnt from the previous experiences of our former Prime Minister, Mr. Blair, and the tragic intervention in Iraq. And I would have learnt, and I would have hopefully used the diplomacy to get to the state of being a Prime Minister to understand that conflicts in the Middle East need to have a Middle Eastern dimension if it is to be resolved properly. Western influences in the Middle East only lead to further distraction and further problems. It prolongs the issue.
Domnule Carver.
Mr. Carver, there's another blue card.
Domnule.
Mr. Schaffhauser has a question for you.
Okay.
Monsieur Carver, est-ce que vous partagez mon point de vue?
Mr. Carver, do you agree that we exceeded the mandate granted by the UN to the intervening countries?
Thank you. Yes, I do. I think the whole issue with regard to intervention in Libya on the back of what was happening in other parts of the Middle East was a huge mistake, and yes, I believe we did exceed.